This is Justin for Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. I've been looking at these charts and it's just crazy. So this is SPX, and just as a bit of a recap, we have this line. So I'm looking at the 3-minute. This line goes back to the low of the 26th. No, what day was it? Yeah, the 26th. And then that line, same color, that's from the high of that same day. So we got the low there. And then from Friday, I had drawn in this channel in here, and then we interacted with that a little bit. And then yesterday, we had this consolidation here, 4 bull days in a row. And then today, we gapped below all of it. All of that. All of it. And that's really significant. The only thing we really had left was the 100, actually simple moving average, the 100. And we cut through that like immediately. It was rough. Let me see what level. What's that? It's like 40.22. So like maybe that's where we had a little bit of a zigzag here. What was the level? It's not even, let me see. What's the number? How if I hovered over it, it would show it. Maybe? No? Okay, moving on. Oh no, I got stuck. Okay, moving on. So with that as the backdrop, we're going to zoom in on things today. And depending on who you listen to and what you've looked at yourself, I'm hoping I'm going to show you something that nobody has shown you. Because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. So I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm going to include these lines up here just because they're really cool to see. Like we just drew those in the last couple of days. Okay, so we had a lot of bearishness, just quick sell off. You actually had an opportunity to buy like this candle on a put. I will show you, but I was just mapping out one put. There's so many puts to look at. But the one thing that I saw in this, I'm like, okay, this is really significant. There's just like this invisible line here, this massive support. Like, why did we keep running into that? It's 39.80. Why is that so significant? And it's like over here, we even put in a hammer and then we didn't bounce. We actually broke right through it. And so this was like the last chance to have any bullishness. Not that there was any. But that candle, this one, this one, these are all screaming, go bearish, get in bearish, get in bearish, get in bearish. Oh, tighten it up, get in bearish, get in bearish. And then each one of them triggered, just within a couple of candles later, that candle. So like it was screaming, all these bull candles were just screaming, go bearish. And then rather than drawing a line or trying to draw a straight line through here, because I'm zigzaggy. Okay, I still drew it. That's pretty good support, right? It looks good. So what I noticed, I'm like, that looks like about halfway through the move today. Why did we pause there? And so then I grabbed the fib retracement and I put it right up here at the open, which it is a shave top open. So the high and the open are the same. I put it, the other one down here, right about here. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I didn't get it to the penny just now, but like, look at this. This is what we did. So here's our support, 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 support. Like all this was just support, even the hammer support. And then we immediately broke through it on that candle, retest a little bit, and then plunged lower. And then I'm sure I could get this better. Somebody else who knows fibs better could probably do this a little bit better, maybe a lot better. But like, look at how well this, just the entire move of the day, like fibs are everywhere. So like having this at the high and at the low, and I don't even know if I drew it. I probably didn't draw it the right way because I think this is like a retracement percentage. I don't know. Anyway, however you draw. So we got a little bit above it, you know, not rock solid on the bullish side, but there were some bulls trying to get in here. But look at how well it actually held. Like this was this was half the move of the day, and we put in this wall, and it didn't get taken out till just after 1 o'clock Central. So, you know, for 4.5 hours, well, no, it was actually still, I would say it was still holding here really until that candle came in. So for nearly, what was that? From 8:30 to 1:30. So for nearly 5 hours, what is that? Just trying to draw a straight line. So about here, 5 hours in, we made half the move of the day. And then in the last hour and a half, we crushed lower. Like half the day was this, and the other half the day was that. It's really crazy. And I shouldn't even say half the day. Like the amount of time it took us to go that far was about the same amount of time it took us to go that far. And then the rest of the day was sideways in here. So let's get this accurate. Can I delete here? All right, erase. Let me see if I can erase. Oh, nice. Okay. Because I just want a couple of things. No, I don't want to erase that one. That. I'm just trying to erase a few different lines. Cool. Okay. This looks a little better. So like we had public participation, accumulation that actually turned into distribution, and then more public participation. So there you go. There are some of the Dow theory functions, whatever it is, of how the market moves. Cool. All right. So not done yet. I'm going to go over to the 39.75 put. And this was really cool. So this is where you could have been buying like at 3, buy the low, and then there's another opportunity to buy it at 3 later in the day. How crazy is that? So we put a 50% mark right through here. So I'm going to get the 50% lined up there. And look what happens. If I just do that, like, okay, it's just rough, right? So down here, the low is about 3. And then the 50% mark is here. And then we're running right into 100% of the move was to here. You know, if we call this the 50% mark, right? Okay, so now watch this. This is really cool. This is what I was just doing. I'm like, I need to record this because no one's talking about this, and I don't even know like if this is ever going to happen. Yeah, it's just really cool to see. Okay, so this is then like the 200% move. It's almost where we dipped, and I can adjust this a little bit and make it just right. But anyway, duplicate that again, and then like here's the 300% of the move, and look at this. It's right near like the high of this candle. Like, I mean, at this point, it's moving like so incredibly large, and I don't know how to do the fibs as well as on here, but we consolidated. Why can't I draw straight? We consolidated between right around the 50% between the 618 and the 618 and the 382 there, and then we have the 50% mark here that's really guiding how we did it, and then we ran into some resistance here and consolidated, and then we broke out from that. It's like you can see the movement of the fib based on where this is and based on where the 50% mark is, and then extrapolate that to be like, okay, well, 50% is here, here's 100, and then here's 200, and then here's 3. And then here, no, it's still not letting me go. There you go. There you go. And then there's 300. Pretty cool. So now if we go back to the 3, I don't even want to think about what, that's not what I meant to do. I need to go back to sketch. There we go. Okay. I don't really want to think about how bad this could get, but like, what if we do the same kind of thing here? Duplicate. And it works a little different because we're talking options, but okay, that's 200%. Like, that's 3,800, roughly 3,800. Okay. And then if we do it again, you say, okay, that's 300%. That's, what is that, 36.90? So then let's go back to the daily. Oh, cool. It shows up in the daily. Look at that. What does, oh, that takes us right back into the lows. I mean, this totally has the potential to do that, right? I'm just literally playing with fibs based on today's candle. Like that's it. And looking at what just happened on the options, how to map out, well, how much bigger could this get? And coming back to the 3 minute, come back to where that lines up in the daily. Like, is it possible that we come all the way back down and retest this gap that has still been open and really threaten to make a new low? Could it keep going lower? Yeah, totally. Could totally keep doing that. So this is just my own playing around with levels and fibs, but I mean, this ended up trapping 3 days worth of bears. I don't think the selling is done yet. Last time we had a big bear day, we had a really nice rest day. This day we had a really big bear day, and we had a big gap down and more selling, another big gap down and more selling. I don't know if we're going to do something like this or if we're going to have a rest day, but I think more bear days are in the future. If there's any bulls that are going to come in and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy this, or bears who are profitable down here and be like, all right, I'll just get out of some, there could be a little bit of buying. Just depends on where we open. We had some resistance here that could act as new support, like this was, and then this, and then if it's really the last chance of the bulls to turn this into some sort of a double bottom, or at least hold us here. But just like we tried to hold on the 3 minute, it might be a bit of a lost cause doing that. Why is my chart not going back to them? There we go. So there are some really great opportunities. I'm going to point out a couple more of them. You had, bull candle closing below the 10, all of these. You had more of them here, like basically all of these. Each time that triggered, like it could have continued on lower. This is where we just got really choppy through here. It allowed the RSI to rest incredibly. We put in a peak here, and then we came back down. RSI came back up, and here on that option, this price and this price were the same, even though we had moved so much. So that was back over here. Nope, that's the call. Here we're back on the put. So I'll get rid of this now. If you want, just rewind the video and take a picture. It's really, really, really hard to see all this. So I'm just going to zoom in on kind of today. So you can see, like, okay, you could have bought, blindly buying, looking for more bearishness, bought here. Like, this is what I would love to be able to do someday. And it just takes a lot more practice. Buy here, get out here. Buy here, get out here. Buy here, get out here. What I like about this is you can buy at 3 and then sell it a multiple. So like buy at 3, sell at 6 or 7, I guess. Buy at 4, sell at 8. Buy at 5, sell at 10. So like you can basically double your option if you it's just cool when that works. Buying at 5 would have worked again here, but then it doesn't make it back up to 10. So you wouldn't know, like you would miss out on trying to get out at 10 and probably have to just get out for like, only like 7 maybe. Way down here, buying blind again at 3, or you're waiting for like a really nice hammer to come in, like a hammer. So buy at 4 with a stop down at 3. Or hey, look, a hammer, buy at 450, stop at 350. Or hey, we bought at 5 over here and it bought at 5 over here, and if we tried to buy at 5 over here, it didn't really work. But hey, if we're still going to keep buying at 5 because that's our plan, then it would have worked over here. And then it was gone, like off the page, gone. So this is just one of the options where you can be like, I'm just going to buy at this price, and somehow that worked here and here at basically the low. Normally it's something where it's like, okay, the opens at 5, and then here we are, we're getting a little lower, and eventually it's like, okay, you got to buy way down there because it's just so much premium gets sucked out. But in this case, the premium somehow, like, it did totally get sucked out, but not of this option, because we never really got so much further below. Like 3 was still a really good place to buy. And then I don't know how to tell you to get a target way, way, way up. Probably just a matter of trailing your stop. So if you had trailed your stop, if you were in bearish, way to go, that's amazing. And then what you could have done with that bigger move, especially because there were five bull candles closing above the 10 EMA, really setting things up like, yeah, this is going to go. Like, okay, your stop's down here, like buy at 3, stop down at 2, and then it starts to run and then comes back and then it bounces and it's like, okay, get your stop tight up from there, so you're going to make something, and then this runs and it's like you might just want to get out of some after a bunch of bull candles, but then it continues and then pulls back and then bounces. It's like, okay, get your stop up in here, and then it runs some more and then goes sideways. It's like, oh man, I bought this at 3 and now it's at 25. I don't think it's going to go any higher. You're out and you're like, oh, I could have doubled that. Like these are the ones it's not really easy to, well, I'm going to say it's highly unlikely that you're going to ride this all the way up with an option like if you buy one, you're going to ride it all the way up to here. Highly unlikely you'll do that unless this is something we've practiced. If you have, like, let me know, because I want to be like you. That's really cool. If you're in multiple, then okay, yeah, get out of one here and just keep trailing and just have that Hail Mary kind of, I'm thinking football because it's football season now. Like, what could happen? Where could this go? And I didn't even think it could go this far up. I didn't think we'd have this big of a move, but it totally makes sense if we have the 50% mark here. So if we get any sort of retracement into this candle, I will look for this same range. I'll probably throw the fib back on here to see, can we get back up into that range, it's like this. I was looking for a little bit more of a retracement into this candle, like just to get to 50%, which I think was at like 41.33, somewhere in there. So it was a little bit higher, but no, maybe not. 41.30, something like that. It's like we came really close, close enough for government work, I think is the phrase. If we could retest into the 100, we played around with that level all through here. We ran through it last time. We retraced, didn't even touch it. So, we ran through it. So it's really not been relevant. We'll see if we get any sort of retracement, but there's such strong resistance up in here. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then, like, what is also crazy is this is the call. So, like, later in the day when that that support was kind of holding, like, there were opportunities to buy. Like, here's a really nice hammer. Here's a high wave candle. Like, here's a really small candle. Like, you could have bought probably this candle like 425. No, a little higher than that. 35, 335. I don't know. That would have been a tough one. I don't know that you're doing that with this option, and I don't know that you're going bullish either. But there was definitely opportunities to be buying this, like just blindly buy at 4, and then just scalp it. So you're out at like 2R, which would be 6. 4x3, target of 6, maybe a target of 7. Get out, where it's not quite at the high it made here. It would have, made it up to 8, but this is just the chop of this portion of the day here. So yes, it had some movement. There were some much better hammers here. That's really cool. So there was a really nice set of candles here that kind of made this harp shape, and then broke down, immediately got bought back up, but never got below. Not never, but didn't get below there again until it was starting to really break down. I thought this hammer was going to hold. Well, not that it was gonna, but like it needed to hold here, like with all of these other hammers. It's like, okay, we should hold, we should bounce back up. And then immediately 2 candles later, we're going lower. It's like, okay, yep. Don't go bullish. Like, it would have worked to go bullish at any point here to buy at this price. I can just draw a straight line, right? Like that. Sure, okay, let's hold this. But it's like this candle immediately to close below. It's like, okay, we didn't have that anytime earlier. We didn't have a close below any of these lower wicks at any point earlier. Something has changed here. And so we retested and we went lower. Like, that's your signal. That's it. If somebody was going, waiting for confirmation, going bullish here, you have this inverted hammer. We have the same thing happen here where we close above on that candle. It's like, oh yeah, we're going bullish. Okay, get one more candle, get kind of an inverted hammer-ish candle there, high wave, immediately close back below the high wave. So just looking at the individual candles, it's like, okay, if we're going to stay bullish, we need to do this, hold that as support now, and go up with the bull candle. Instead, we close below this with a bear candle, inside candle, break down again, kind of hammer. If you ignore that there's a wick there, that's an inverted hammer. You can get in there. This is a bearish engulfing hammer. If you ignore this little lower wick, that triggers. Here's another inverted hammer here. That triggers on this candle. It continues lower. It's like, okay, is that enough selling for today? Is that it? We're back into this level that was support. Nope. On the day, we're definitely bearish. So don't take this bullish. See if we can bounce. And if you waited to see if we could bounce, then literally 6 minutes later, we're not bouncing. We're getting some retracement into another high wave-ish sort of candle. This one actually looks more like a hammer. So again, like here's a hammer, close below. Here's a hammer, doesn't even go higher. And all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, like especially this one, this was the best one. This is the first 10 EMA close below, bull candle close below the 10 EMA. First one, even though it's after 1, 2, 3, 4 bear candles, like this is the first one, it triggers in the very next candle. You can just be bearish for all of this and get into this earlier. Incredible setup there. Just amazing how that's set up. Anyway, I can keep rambling on and on and on. There's so many more options where this is the same kind of thing. Like this set up so well in so many different options. It's just crazy. I will show you one more, and this is not happy about from today. But I was looking at the 70 put, 39.70 put. So, 39.70. Where was it? Here. It was somewhere here. What time it was? I would have to see if I can track that down. But I was looking for I was waiting for it to get above the 3. So I was in a stop limit with different prices. So I had a stop at 3 and then a limit at 275. I think it was 275. Looking for a little bit more of a pullback because a lot of this was just wicking down. I'm like, I think I can get better entry. Once it goes above 3, then I know, okay, it should S-curve. Never came back to the 275. 290 it hit here, 290 it hit here. And at this point, I should have just gotten in at 3 and, a stop down at 2. And that would have been really comfortable over here. But I didn't. And so I was looking for 270, didn't fill, canceled the order, didn't fill over here, wouldn't have filled over here. But I had a target set at 8, thinking, well, we'll probably run back up into that level. How long was that? This option didn't quite go as far as the 39.75, but this one went up to easily. I could have exited at 40, and this is something that's like, oh wow, that just ran. So plenty of opportunities to get into this. I didn't, so I missed this huge move, but I was looking bearish at that point, and it's like, oh man. But you can look at the 39.50, 39.25, 3900, like all of these skyrocketing in value before it finally closed. I don't know what price we closed at. Today was 39, 32, 69. So like even into the last like 15 minutes of the market, there was still so much premium in these options that were in this area because it just wasn't clear what was going to happen, which way it was going to go. They're really expensive. Like you can make some really good directional money on those on like a 1 minute chart. I'm not ready for the 1 minute chart on SPX. I've done it on Amazon, and I'm still working on a channel name change. So if you watched this far, thank you. Really appreciate it. I hope this helps you, and let me know in the comments, or feel free to shoot a message with how you traded. If you noticed any of this, if this fib thing was the first time you heard that or saw that today. But really hope this helps. All right, thanks. This is Justin.